quick. Okay, hello people. My 0 viewers is pretty nice, but it's okay. It's my first time streaming, so it's understandable. What's this? 70% off. Dang! Nomad, that's where it's at, man. Oh, Nomad's always making nice stuff. So I didn't really have a specific topic, so to speak, but I did notice that like new stuff was coming out on what's called Samsung S11, and it was right here. Yeah. So we'll just go over some videos.
And you're getting a phone with it. We all wanted the best camera features, and we got them, but it costed everything. The Galaxy S11 Plus first look is here via on leaks, and oh god, oh dear god, this is a tank. Is this a phone?
Yikes.
You're actually paying money for a camera and you're getting a phone with it. Look at the size of that thing, the biggest camera on a smartphone. Holy hell, it's packing so much. I mean, looking at the size of it, no wonder it has 100x zoom, 8K 30fps video.
Okay, despite it looking like crazy, like fucking huge as hell, like the specs are pretty crazy. Granted, it's a massive camera port, so I would hope it would be crazy, like when it comes to how good the camera actually is. But yeah. So we'll just keep on going.
Video recording. Now I know what I said in the previous videos, and I still stand by that statement. But even by my optimistic standards, this is extreme. The flash looks really.
Yeah, like I thought the iPhone 11 Pro looked disgusting. Like I don't like the design. Like you can say how much you love it, that's fine, but I don't like it. It's just not for me, right? So whenever I saw this, I was like, how could you make the iPhone 11 Pro's design uglier when you're supposed to do the exact opposite, Samsung? They're always making all these dumb Apple leaks, right? Or Apple commercials about how they're better or whatever, and nobody really likes those. Like they're all cringe. Like it doesn't make sense. And then they come out with stupid stuff like this. It's just like, really? You're gonna come at Apple.
Big and it's not.
You're gonna come at Apple, but then your design looks uglier. No, I have an S10 Plus. Don't worry. I'm not an Apple fanboy. I don't like Apple. Like I like the iPhone 11, the iPad Pro, and the Apple smartwatch. Like the smartwatch line. Those are my favorite 3 products from like Apple in general. But other than that, I think I prefer Android. You don't have an iPhone and you talk shit on Samsung. Well, I mean, I have an S10 Plus. I mean, I think I can talk shit on Samsung when they do stuff that looks like that, man. Let's be honest here. Like, spec-wise, it's crazy. It's a beast. But looks, like, design-wise, it's just not that good. S10 Plus is shit. I don't know. To each their own. I don't think it's a bad phone. iPhone 8 is better. I don't know about that one, dude. I don't know about that one at all. That's stretching it, but I mean, when it comes to iPhone, the only iPhone I've actually ever liked was the iPhone 11 and the 6S. Everything else I haven't liked so far. So I'm glad the 11 came out really nice. Despite it having an LCD display, the price tag and what you get for it is very, very well rounded. Okay, buddy. I don't know about that one. The S10 Plus is a really good phone. The S10 isn't. The S10e is eh. I'll only like support the S10 Plus. So yeah, the S10 is nah. It's not that good. The battery life is eh. So the S10 Plus at SS is only 2. What do you mean? I don't even know what you're going on about now, but yeah, we're just keep on watching.
Centered. I mean, the whole camera layout is kind of random. We've got 5 cameras, 2 additional sensors. One of them is the laser autofocus. The other one, we don't know about it yet. Guys, I have to agree, this is not a good design, but for some reason, this is making me even more excited. You see, Samsung is a smart company with one of the best smartphone designs out there. There has to be a solid reason why Samsung is doing this. It's very easy to criticize right now, but we have to wait and see what this camera can do. At least it's not as bad as the bathtub notch. If I can use that phone, then I can sure as hell use this tank. Now, just like the camera, the whole device itself is massive. We have a 6.9-inch OLED hole punch display with 120Hz refresh rate. Because it's such a big device, we're gonna see 5000 mAh plus battery on this phone for sure. The rest of the design elements are same as the S11 and the S11e. We don't have any headphone jack. There's also no big speaky, we only have the volume rocker and the power button. Now this confirms that there will be a Galaxy Note 11 coming later down the year because the unification did not happen. Most likely the Note 11 will come as well in the month of August of 2020. According to the current rumors, the S11 Plus will only come in the 5G variation, meaning there will be no 4G S11 Plus model. Again, all these decisions, there is a reason for that, and I'm excited for that particular reason. But let me know your thoughts about this. From S1 all the way to Galaxy S10, we have seen some really good designs, but now with the Galaxy S11 we're seeing birth of a new Samsung design philosophy, and I know a lot of you guys are not happy with it, but let me know your thoughts down below in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.
Okay. Get banned, dude. Okay, like, oh my god. First day streaming, I already have someone trolling in the chat and saying some really bad stuff. I mean, I guess that's what happens when you start a new stream. But yeah, it wasn't a good, enjoyable first time. But yeah, banned. Bye. No, I don't need stuff like that in my chat. Anyways, overall, S11, like he said, it's very easy to criticize the design, and I agree. The design is pretty out there, you know? Like, there's nothing appealing about the design at all in any aspect. I think the only way that the S11 would look good is in the front, but like the backside, I don't know. It's like looking at someone and they look pretty from the front, but then they turn around or something. Like, you know that cliche that they always say, where they look pretty from the back, etc. It's like that, but different, like flipped. But yeah, I don't know. This design, I guess I gotta give it like some like we gotta wait and see. Basically, is what I'm trying to say, because I don't want to judge it too far, and then it end up being not as bad as we thought it would be. But yeah, hopefully, like the design, at least they're like seeing all the criticism they're getting, maybe, and they'll try to change it a little bit. Please, I'm hoping. But I'm hoping that they also don't go the circle camera cutout route like the OnePlus 7T, because you can literally like cut stuff with that. So I don't know. There's just a lot of things that are hard to do when it comes to design. So I don't blame them for trying to like make a beefy camera in the back, but at the same time, they're doing a lot of hardware things. I just want to know about the software, man. Samsung's always been good at hardware stuff, but when it comes to the software of the camera, like the what is called, like just basically overall the software of the camera is not the greatest. It's too harsh on the noise reduction. Everything looks very soft. Even when you have beauty mode turned off, it still looks like beauty mode is still turned on. Stuff like that like gets in the way basically. And it's just not like it's not that good. When it comes to like the Google and the iPhone image processing, it's like leagues ahead of anything Samsung has ever done. And I don't think focusing all on the hardware is the route Samsung should be taking at this point in time. I think that they should have just done a 10 times zoom and like done maybe like a 48 megapixel camera, or the 108 in general, but like focus more on fixing the image rendering and the image processing that goes on in the background to make that good picture, because it's not all about the hardware that the phone has. It's just more about the software, in my opinion. Hardware can only get you so far, but software is what holds people back from making better phones. So you have phones coming out with 108 megapixel cameras, for example, that one phone that just came out with it. If you notice, the images are crisp, but they're not as crisp as you'd think they would be with 108 megapixels. So that's something to keep in mind in the future, because I forgot what phone it was. Let's search that up. Where was it? Yeah, Xiaomi Mi Note 10, right? But if we see MKBHD did a video on it, and we can watch it again. I already watched it. Oh shit, it's loud. Okay.
Hey, what's up guys, MKBHD here, and this is the Xiaomi Mi Note 10 that I've been using for about a week for exactly one reason. It has a 108 megapixel camera on the back. So that is a wild number, 108 megapixels. But I should mention, we have seen this megapixel push in smartphone cameras before. I remember there was a little streak back when I was in college. Like we had a bunch of 4 and 8 megapixel cameras, then a bunch of 12, and then a bunch of 20 somethings. And then we got that 41 megapixel Nokia Lumia 1020, which for a while was basically the king of smartphones, and it was pretty good, but it seemed like every time we got a new higher megapixel number, then that became the smartphone camera king, even though megapixels didn't mean everything. Like just because something has a 16 megapixel camera doesn't mean it's necessarily better than the 12 megapixel camera. In fact, a lot of times it's the other way around. So anyway, now I'm sure you've noticed that we've sort of settled around pretty much everyone having 12 megapixel cameras, but 108 megapixels, like that's gotta mean something. There's gotta be something there, right? Well, let's start with what that actually means. The resolution of one photo from a typical 12 megapixel camera like the iPhone is around 4,000 by 3,000, so that totals around 12 million pixels, 12 megapixels. So the same scene from this new Xiaomi camera comes in at 12,000 by 9,000, which is multiplied to get you 108 million pixels, or 108
that doesn't mean it's
megapixels. So you're getting about 3 times the vertical and horizontal resolution to make these numbers, and the file size for me has ranged from about 20 to 30 megabytes per photo, so that's pretty big.
That's huge.
And you've probably already noticed there are actually 5 total cameras on the back of this phone. The 108 megapixel main camera, then there's a 12 megapixel 2x telephoto, a 20 megapixel ultra wide, a 5 megapixel super telephoto at 5x, and a 2 megapixel macro camera.
Just because the thing that I've noticed, like the theme that I've always noticed with like Android cameras, like Apple doesn't do this, but whenever a phone comes out with like 4 cameras, everyone's like flipping their shit, right? Because there's 4 cameras, that must mean it's better. No, that's not what it means. For example, Apple released their iPhone 11, and then their 11 Pro had a depth sensor camera, or like 2 times zoom, right? But the iPhone 11 that didn't have it could still take portrait photos. Sure, they're not gonna be. I mean, sometimes they, like I saw pictures and it's not bad. Like the processing of the portrait in the background without the secondary lens isn't bad. Like you see Google phones do it all the time. Pixel 2, Pixel 3, Pixel 1, the first Pixel, you know, in general, like it's not bad. And then when Apple came out with it and people were saying, oh, the iPhone 11 Pro is automatically better because it has 3 cameras, I'm just like, no, that's not why. I mean, it's better because it has screen, like the screen is better, but like when it comes down to it, it's not always about how many cameras a phone has. Basically what I'm getting at. So for example, another factor of this was like the OnePlus did it as well. So basically every Android company is doing it this year. Like I know that Huawei did it with the 4 cameras when everyone else had 2. And stuff like that. Or like they did it 3 when everyone else had 2. Stuff like that. And it was more like, would I need it? Like it's there, but would I use it? And that's the thing you gotta realize. Sometimes they add stuff on smartphones that don't really need to be there, but they're there to like be like, oh, we're different from everyone else. A good observation on my part for this, because I've used the S10 Plus. Not observation, but you get the point. Something I've noticed with the S10 Plus, the times I've actually used reverse wireless charging is like once a year. The only time I actually used reverse wireless charging was in school when my friends had me charge their iPhones because they were on like 2% in second period. Like, now that I'm in college, no one's doing that. So it's just like, reverse wireless charging is a very niche thing. It's like, it's not a gimmick because it works, but it's super slow. So it is sort of a gimmick at the same time. And it's just trying to like pull you in to be like, hey, like, what is called, we have this and other phones don't. Like, it's better automatically. That the more features a phone doesn't have, can't even talk. The more features that a phone has doesn't mean it's a better phone than a phone with less features. So I know a lot of people, like, there's a bunch of videos talking about how the iPhone 11 Pro, Pro Max, they're boring phones because they don't have a lot to them. But they're really solid phones. Like, I personally wouldn't buy them, but when it comes to like iPhones in general, they are solid phones. You can't deny that they're bad or anything like that. Like, they get the job done, they do what you want, and they're smooth, quick, fast, but they're boring. Now, to me, the main reason why I never switched to iPhone was mainly because of how much you couldn't do, and that actually matters to me a lot because I like to like change how my phone looks every now and then and just have fun with it, right? On iPhone, you can't do that. Now, this doesn't really pertain to a lot of people, as a lot of people don't even care about customization, and that's why Apple, that's why Apple has so many good sales. Not too many people are like interested in just like customizing stuff and all this stuff like that, right? And it's just like, just because the iPhone 11 Pro and Pro Max aren't customizable, don't have some features that other phones have, doesn't mean it's a bad phone. iPhone 11 Pro and Pro Max are so good, they're good enough to be boring, if that makes sense. I know another video came out talking about that as well. And basically what I'm trying to go here, it's not all about the hardware, it's basically about the experience, and whenever something has more than another phone, don't automatically cut out that other phone that has less, because it could have less, but it could be more optimized towards the phone than the phone with more cameras that could have different, like, for example, I know that happens on the Samsung phone as well. On the S10 Plus, from my experience, the wide angle doesn't look as good as the main camera when it comes to like HDR, etc. On the iPhone 11 Pro and Pro Max and 11, they look very similar. Like, they're almost the same when it comes to like HDR and everything, because the software that's gone into it is really good and it's super solid. And that just goes down to, just because a phone has more doesn't mean it's automatically going to be better. Okay, I'm basically repeating myself at this point. But yeah, you get the point.
And there's also two pairs of flashes. Like, it is a lot of hardware, clearly. So much, in fact, that it sticks out from the back of the phone and you end up like with it rocking on a table and everything. But that's the sacrifice you make if you want all these pixels and all this camera quality. So the question is, how good do the photos actually look? And the answer is really good sometimes. So I've said it before, there are a lot of things that contribute to the quality of a smartphone photo: color accuracy, exposure, dynamic range, contrast, etc. But the main thing you're going to notice, of course, with such a high resolution here is sharpness and detail. The photos in the 108 megapixel mode are significantly sharper, more detailed than any other smartphone I've ever used, especially when you give it a lot of light. So in the daytime, under bright lights, basically. But I will modify it to say this: it's mostly center sharpness. See, the center of these frames are super crisp and sharp, but when you move out to near the outer edges and corners of the frame, it's...
If you notice here, sorry, I was gonna go over, I kind of lost what I was gonna say. Basically, the way I see this photo, or like the way he's describing it, the way I pictured it to give like a better understanding. So obviously you can see that it's blurry, but like, for example, there's 108 megapixels right here on the side. You can see how it's significantly sharper. This would be like an 8 megapixel camera, around there. It lacks a lot of sharpness, and he didn't mention it, at least I don't think so, but you can also tell that it looks blurry. For example, like the rocks moved, but like they didn't, if that makes any sense. So this one's all sharp, right? This one's sharp, like not sharp, but it kind of looks like there's like blurriness, like the rocks are moving. For example, when you move taking a photo, but like it's so slight that it just looks blurry. That's sort of what I got when I saw these pictures.
rarely anywhere near as sharp. This is a perfect example. In the center here, you can see the details in this merch. the fibers in the cotton. You can practically feel the softness. I mean, you can feel the softness in person for yourself. Everything's back on sale at shop.mkbhd.com. But yeah, you get the idea. Super high detail here. But the edges of the frame, especially the corners, get very quickly distorted and fall out of focus. Even on flat landscape shots like this, which is crazy, you still have that lack of center sharpness. Normally, if you have a subject in the middle of a frame and you want that tack sharp focus and don't really care about the edges, then that's fine. But in a landscape or something wider, you really notice the edge distortion. I think a great way to show this is to give context. So, iPhone 11 Pro, we all know, great set of cameras. I could have used any other Pixel 4 or a high-end smartphone system, but I took the same photo on iPhone 11 Pro and Mi Note 10 back to back, 12 megapixels, 108 megapixels. So here's an alleyway, very similar, of course, with each photo. Different color temperatures slightly, different exposures a little bit, but again, pretty similar. But the advantage of so many pixels is you can zoom in and keep clarity. And you're actually kind of able to read this tiny security sign over here on the Xiaomi where it's literally just
Look, I can read that. All activities are recorded to aid in the prosecution of any crime committed against this facility.
Blurred lines on the iPhone. Boom. Here, this shot of the river is pretty similar. Where you're zoomed out, you'll notice the Xiaomi is a little more contrasty, while the iPhone is a bit more flat. That's typical, keeps more shadow exposure detail. But as soon as you zoom in, again, you start to see the difference in levels of detail, especially in the trees, and really anything that's near the middle of the frame. Like the links in the chain link fence with 108 megapixels versus 12 is super obvious. And the theme keeps going kind of no matter what your subject is, as long as it's in the middle of the frame. When you're zoomed all the way out, they're pretty similar with their images, just the iPhone usually being a bit flatter. And then zooming in gets you this immense amount of detail and sharpness, and this stayed true in well-lit shots. It definitely falls apart pretty dramatically though in low light. The
Yikes.
iPhone has significantly less noise, so it does way less noise reduction in low light and has not so much smoothing to do because of it. While the Xiaomi software is struggling and smoothing over everything to the point where 108 megapixels with all this noise reduction is less detailed than...
Okay, this is what I'm talking about. You see this right here? This happens when you take pictures on a Samsung phone. Like, I never see people talk about it, but I always have it happening to me. It's super over smooth. Everything's turned off, like beauty modes, etc., etc. It's turned off. It's not on. And it's just like, why is this happening? Like, there's no need for this to happen. And then it was just like, I keep on saying like, sorry. It's just because whenever I take pictures, like, I want them to look good. And I know my camera is good, but whenever the software kills the picture, because it looks better in the viewfinder, I should state that. Whenever I take a picture, it looks better in the viewfinder than it does in my gallery. The reason for this is because of the software. So if I took a picture of my hand, you'd be able to see all the lines through the viewfinder. But if I took the picture and looked at my gallery, it wouldn't look like that. You know, maybe I can show that. Let's see. Go right here. We can go like this to show what I mean by that. Let's minimize that. Okay. Hold on, let me change the settings of my phone, so just in case I get notifications or something. There. So I click view. And I know you won't be able to get like the whole understanding of what I'm trying to talk about because it's through visor and not actually through the camera. But we're gonna try anyways. So let me turn on my light so you guys can understand what I mean. Okay. So like you can see right now, it looks it looks sharp, basically is what I'm trying to get at. I know it looks sharper in my phone than it does in the video, but like you can tell that like you can see the what is called the lines and stuff like that. And then if I took a picture, kind of just like that, right? And also, this is no auto mode on. This is no like AI mode or anything like that. It looks a lot softer. I mean, I don't know if you guys can tell the difference, but it's pretty like significant for me on my phone. I know this is through visor, so it's kind of hard. But like, if I went back and took another photo, you can see like along this part of the photo, like the background, and then just like right here, it doesn't look sharp. There's grain on the photo. There's grain right here. There's grain everywhere. And then my hand is very softened when in reality it's not supposed to look like that. But yeah, that's just something to get a visual interpretation of what I'm trying to talk about. Okay. Let's continue, shall we?
Than 12 megapixels with excellent image processing. So we've sort of known it already, but software is clearly a big part of a camera's experience. And then I can't talk about this camera without actually talking about the photo taking experience, not just the image quality, but using it. For starters, there's a separate mode for taking 108 megapixel photos. Typically when you just open the camera in photo mode, you're gonna take scaled roughly 27 megapixel photos. Still high end, that's still a lot of pixels, but that's where it performs well. You can zoom in and out, and with the extra lenses, you can get to 2x, to 5x, and then even further with hybrid zoom. Macro shots are cool, there's the ultra wide. It feels fairly solid. But then you switch over to the 108 megapixel mode, and things slow down quite a bit. Now, there's a noticeable shutter lag of over a second as it captures the entire 12,000 lines of resolution and processes the whole frame, writes them to the not so fast storage, and then you can't view the photo you've taken until after another few seconds of that processing and writing the photo, and then you can see it sort of spinning for a bit, and once it's done...
I mean, to be fair, that's kind of to be expected. To like for the photos to basically be like that. I mean, in all honesty, it happens in Gcam sometimes when I do HDR plus, like where it's like the higher version of it, and like I'm not trying to say it's justifiable, but it's understandable as to why the what is called. I can't just speak. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that like he said, what is it? What do you say?
Storage?
Yeah, the not so fast storage. It just doesn't help with the taking pictures that are so high res, and they have to render, right, and get sent to the what is called the gallery and the storage basically, and throughout the process, like first of all, I don't even think it has the highest. Let's before I say something dumb. Yeah, see. It doesn't have the highest processor, so that also hurts it with speed and like how fast it renders the photo, and the storage isn't that fast at all either. So it's just that kind of hurts the phone in that sense. And yeah, that's basically all I can get. I mean, I'm pretty sure they can do something about the shutter lag after taking the photo and like how it works and stuff like that. But yeah.
And then you can't view the photo you've taken until after another few seconds of that processing and writing the photo, and then you can see it sort of spinning for a bit, and once it's done, you can view it. And once you view the huge photo, it doesn't actually load the whole image right away. It loads a smaller proxy until you actually zoom in which case it decides, oh, okay, you're looking for that extra resolution, and then it loads up the full-size preview and you can see it sharpen up. And so it's doing all this mainly to avoid having you deal with that not-so-great experience all the time. It's smart, but this is not the highest-end phone in the world. I'd call it upper mid-range. Specs are, a Snapdragon 730G chip, and you're looking at 6 gigs of RAM and 128 gigs of storage as the only spec. And so in general, it's not going to be the best equipped for spitting out 20 megabyte image files and manipulating them in real time. The rest of the phone, I'd say, is actually pretty well considered if you ask me. It's really solidly built. You've got a 5,260 milliamp hour battery, and there's a 30-watt fast charger in the box. And around the front, I don't like the curved screen. I've talked about that before, but generally the display itself is nice. It's a 1080p AMOLED with just that small notch at the top. There's an in-display fingerprint reader. There is even a headphone jack and an IR blaster. And you can see it's running Xiaomi's UI, MIUI 11 on top of Android, which has plenty of its own quirks and features. Definitely an improvement over the previous version from what I've used, but clearly still skinned. So overall, my take is, it's pretty sweet that we have a legitimate, like an actual 108 megapixel sensor that can fit in a smartphone today. Like, just for the number on paper, that's really cool. It's not some faked composition adding up detail from 3 different cameras. It's real. Is it good? Yes, sometimes. It's legitimately really useful to take like landscapes and be able to use that center of frame, which is super detailed, and crop it and do whatever you want with that. But the sensor is so new and so big that the image processing pipeline makes not so great photos of close-up subjects and low-light scenes, so it's clearly not flawless. I really became most interested in the camera in this phone because of the rumor that some camera phones next year, specifically Galaxy S11, will have a 100+ megapixel sensor. That is exciting because that's going to be on a higher end phone that can put the resources towards making that a reasonable experience. Faster storage, higher end CPU, more RAM, just more processing power, and then you of course get a more tried and true Samsung image processing pipeline. So all these things can maybe make a 100 megapixel smartphone photo normalized and normal feeling instead of sort of like an add-on or an extra mode, which is the way it is on this camera. So I'm excited for that potential future. Not just for the number on paper, but because of the actual improvement we've seen in smartphone camera tech and just camera tech in general since those Nokia Lumia 1020 days. Fingers crossed we don't lose sight of that. Either way, thanks for watching. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace.
Yeah. I kind of stopped talking towards the end because I kind of just wanted to listen and hear what he said. But I agree. I kind of want to see. The reason why this phone really interested me the most is because it paved the way. It's basically paving the way for the next smartphones to actually use this with a better processor, better RAM, like I was talking about before, and faster storage, so you won't have that shutter speed lag, etc., etc. And I think this phone is cool that it's trying to do something different and be out there and do new things, right? And I'm hoping that in the future it gets even better and better. So yeah, next thing we can talk about is, let's talk about the Tesla Cybertruck. Funny moments. Oops, it's cringe. XQC. Let's watch it. XQC is my favorite streamer at the moment.
They're even more late than late. Now they're stalling. Train is at home taking notes on how they're doing it. How they can stall the pre-intro, intro, late entrance, fake intro, late fake intro, and then smoke screen intro.
Oh.
Oh.
In the future, there will be no straws, I promise. Los Angeles, November 2019. The skies are polluted. The world is addicted to oil. But we're here to offer a solution. The CyberTruck. The #1 mode of transport for a cyber girl. The greatest evolution in vehicular, fashion, and function.
His face when I was watching the live stream, that was my exact reaction. It's like, what the heck? I guess they were going for like some Blade Runner type of like feel. I'm pretty sure that's what they were going for. It was funny. Oh.
I now present to you my creator.
Elon. He's like, what? XQC. Oh, they're going crazy.
Welcome to the CyberTruck unveil. I love you guys too. I love you guys too. Hey. Trucks have been the same for a very long time. Like 100 years. Trucks have been basically the same. We want to try something different. Let's show you what trucks have, you see trucks all the time, but as a reminder, what do they look like? Yeah, so.
Oh, he's choking a little bit. It happens.
Sorry this is a trial. This is a trial. Please, bear with us. So, it's actually hard to tell. It's hard to tell which is which, really. Yeah, I took the brand.
The thing Elon kind of struggles with is like talking in front of crowds. I've noticed that he stutters a lot. I don't know if he has like a speech impediment or if he's just nervous. But yeah, when I was watching this live stream, I was like, it happened a lot, especially towards the end when that whole thing happened.
We took the brands off, but it's hard to tell which is which with the brands off. They'll pretty much look the same. We need something different, and we need sustainable energy now.
Wow.
If we don't have a pickup truck, we can't solve it. The number one selling truck, a vehicle in America, top 3 selling vehicles in America are pickup trucks. We have to, if to solve sustainable energy, we have to have a pickup truck.
True.
So I present to you
True.
the CyberTruck.
XQC. His reaction to this is hilarious. Everyone's like all excited in the chat.
What the fuck?
Ooh, dude. It's a toast.
Futuristic.
It's
At least, is this the future?
A trapezoid. April Fools. Roblox.
Actually,
Excuse these things is a meme. It ain't a meme, boy. To be honest, it's pretty. It's kind of ugly. Let's be honest here. It's pretty ugly.
here's the quality.
Doesn't look like anything else.
But it like kind of grows on you at the same time.
So we'll start off with the size, the dimensions, and the inspiration. So the
Wait, it's not a troll.
functionality I'm gonna
It's not a
describe
troll.
Is within a space that is less than the most popular pickup truck in the United States, the F-150. So we didn't cheat in either width, height, or length. And we're able to achieve much greater capability in the same dimensions, same
It's
weight.
basically just keeping the same design or like same
Yeah.
dimensions as the F-150.
Part of this is the fundamental design change. We moved the mass to the outside.
I don't believe it.
We created an exoskeleton.
He's like, nah,
So normally, the way that a truck
not a
is
troll.
designed, you have a body on frame, you have a bed on frame, and and the body and the bed don't do anything useful. They're carried like cargo, like a sack of potatoes. It was the way that aircraft used to be designed, when they had biplanes, basically. The key to creating an effective monoplane was a stressed skin design. You move the stress to the outside skin. It allows you to do things
yes.
you can't do with a body on frame. So we're able to make the skin out of thick, ultra hard stainless steel. It's really hard. We're gonna show you just how hard.
Oh, dude, okay, dude, this is troll.
So
It's pretty ugly, let's be honest, guys.
Franz has a sledgehammer. Now, don't hold back. Okay. Yeah. It's a regular truck door.
I saw a lot of tweets about this scene. Because people were saying stuff about it.
Go it, do it.
Content, dude, fuck it.
Content.
Yeah.
That was a good hit.
Yeah, hit it a couple times. You want to hit it again? All right.
You should hit it a bunch of times, didn't he? It's getting him out of juice.
Now hit the CyberTruck. Same thing. Hit it harder.
People were saying that what's it called? I'm not a big car person, so don't correct me if I'm wrong, but a lot of people were saying on Twitter that the whole reason trucks and cars crumple is so the person that gets it basically helps the people survive. I don't know how true that is, but people were saying if you got hit by a Tesla, what is it called? CyberTruck, you're dead no matter what because it's made out of stainless steel. And it's kind of true. Imagine getting on a head-on collision with this car. You're dead. You will not survive.
Yeah.
Damn.
Really wind up. Nail it.
Paid actor.
Yeah.
Wait, that was a weak hit at the end. I saw that.
It's pretty strong. Very strong. So if you think about like a truck, you want a truck that's tough. You want a truck that's really tough, not fake tough.
Fake tough. Okay, that's a tank. It literally looks like a tank,
A
dude.
truck can take a sledgehammer too. Truck that won't scratch, doesn't dent. What else can we do with this truck?
We can shoot it.
What if we shot it? Let's shoot it.
They sound so excited. Let's shoot it.
Wait, why?
Exactly.
OSHA. I mean, come on. So that's a 9mm bullet shot at the door.
We
We're
can't.
in California, unfortunately. But the 9mm, it is literally bulletproof to a 9mm handgun. That's how strong the skin is. So it's ultra hard, cold rolled stainless steel alloy that we've developed. We're going to be using the same alloy in the Starship rocket and in the Cybertruck.
Ooh, that's pretty cool. When I heard that, I was like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, you're welcome. So on the right, that's like normal truck doors. Might as well be made of tissue paper.
It just looks dumb. It's kind of like
the looks like a paintball.
the Balenciaga approach.
So, when you say something's built tough.
Yeah, it looks gross, but it has a lot of functions.
What about the glass? Seems like a vulnerability.
Oh no! Oh no!
Yeah. Transparent metal glass. Yeah, that's right. Let's show some of the tests. Let's what can we do
Transparent?
with this? All right. Let's show the glass demo.
Yikes. They don't know. They don't know.
Oh.
Wait, excuse me. Dude, it was so
There
funny
you go.
when I watched
So
this happen live.
This is regular glass. This is like normal glass, car glass. I want to show you what happens with normal car glass. Shatters immediately.
Really?
With a little bowl. Now I'll show you Tesla Armor glass.
Wow. Put that on a phone. That's what I was thinking. You know what I was thinking? What if they put the Tesla armor glass on a phone? You know how cool that would be? Literally indestructible. Like, I know it like shatters, but that's only if you throw a lead ball at it, you know?
Nothing.
Gorilla Glass presentation.
It's kind of a small bowl though. It's maybe like do it at a bigger height with a yeah. So still doing it. I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, not bad.
Hey, the chat. Oh,
Bog.
a bug.
Do you think it's actually real?
Careful.
Do you guys
Get the
think it's
glass
that?
anyway?
No. People are saying no.
Yeah.
Some small part of me inside will hopes it breaks, but Jesus.
Oh no.
Not bad.
The time is upon us.
Franz, could you try to break this glass, please?
Oh no. Oh shit. It's gonna break.
spectators.
Someone called it.
Yeah.
It's gonna break. Someone here it comes.
Oh my fucking god. Well, maybe that was a little too hard.
Okay, dude.
It didn't
Dude, like they died here. They died here, and then they're gonna die again. Like they should have stopped after one window. I don't know why they.
Let's try the right.
Let's try the right. Ooh, no. Oh no.
Man, it didn't go through.
Oh,
All right.
Oh my god. This is hilarious.
Not bad. Room for improvement. All right. Let's see.
He's trolling,
So,
chat.
We did actually throw everything. We threw wrenches. We threw everything. We even literally threw the kitchen sink at the glass, and it didn't break. For some weird reason, it broke now. I don't know why.
Yikes.
You know,
Except the ball. They're trolling.
So, in addition, the car has an adaptive air suspension. It's literally built, adaptive air suspension. So this will come standard on all the cars. I think this is actually a very important design element because if you have
The stocks actually dropped a lot, surprisingly.
ability to adjust
After
the right height,
this.
so you can go very low or very high, so you can be efficient on the highway, and you can also go off-roading. It's going to have the highest clearance of any production truck, so we're going to have about a 16-inch clearance, and you can adjust this on the fly. So it's adaptive damping and adaptive ride height.
Tesla
These
shares
are actually
dropped.
extremely important. for
No
trucks.
stonks.
Trucks, when you only drive them, they're either too cushy or they're too hard. You need it to be able to adjust dynamically depending upon what the load is. If you've got a lot of people on board, if you've got a full bed in the back,
He's
you've got to
sweating.
adjust accordingly. So, yeah. Let's talk about the we call it the vault. CyberTruck Bolt. So, let's see.
Chad, half of our sub money's in fucking Tesla stocks. Should we sell?
Should we sell?
It was demo this active, but yeah. So. The rear is 100 cubic feet.
480p Warthog.
6.5 foot,
It looks like it's
length,
from Halo.
length, up to 3,500 pounds of payload. Yeah. And it can tow.
That's pretty cool.
Honestly, the back, like doing that like thing where it like rolls up is pretty cool.
$14,000.
But what about a real world test? Like let's actually have a tug of war here with an F-150. So you can see,
You know, before this actually plays, a lot of people were saying that this test wasn't really correct, that something was wrong with it. I don't know. I'm not a big car person, like I said. I don't know much. But they were saying that something with the F-150 wasn't correct, or the way they did the test wasn't really accurate, and that Elon actually responded to someone saying that they tested out themselves, and then he said sure. So we'll see.
See which one can pull which. Let's do the tug of war video.
Can't see it. Okay.
I mean, yeah, but it was uphill.
Rolled.
Performance.
.9 is crazy, dude. 0 to 60.
Wait.
0 to 60 in 2.9. That's actually crazy. When I saw this, I was like, oh shit, man. Like, I thought that was crazy.
2.9? Is that better than the other one on sports mode?
Imagine getting hit by this. True.
How does this compare to a Porsche 911? Okay, we're gonna give the Porsche a little bit of a head start. Yeah, this is a current edition Porsche. And this is the actual truck. This is not CGI. In terms of off-road performance, it's going to have the best angular approach angle, best clearance heights, best departure angle. For people that are really going off-road, this is going to be great. You can basically do the Baja Rally in this thing. We have 3 ranges.
We good?
So, yeah.
It's like,
Obviously, they'll have access.
okay, I don't wanna. I mean, how much more is there? That's pretty much it that we all need to watch. XQC is amazing. I love his videos and his streams. It's great. Me's presenting my slides that I prepared in 5 minutes before. It's true. He did have a struggle. He did have a hard time with the presentation that happened. Like, overall, the Tesla was called CyberTruck. It's not bad. Like, I know we all hate the design. And, I mean, not all of us hate the design. A lot of people do enjoy it. But, like, at the end of the day, people are kind of, like, iffy on, like, everything pretty much. So that's something to keep in mind when, like, talking about the Cybertruck. That people not everyone, the design isn't for everyone. People like the standard truck, or people just like a car, not this. And basically, what's it called? What I'm trying to get at is a car isn't for everyone. So this truck isn't for everyone. Like an F-150 isn't for everyone. Like, I'm not a truck person. I'd never buy a truck. But they're trying to appeal to an audience that is hardly dominated by a group of people that just buy F-150s over and over and over again. So, the fact that they're trying to be different so they can stand out. It's sort of like the way, I mean, Apple does it, but they don't do it like as hardcore as the Cybertruck. So Apple does like a design where sometimes I think that they do it on purpose to make it look better and basically, and not look better, but like make it different so it stands out from everyone. So like they know there'll be memes everywhere and stuff like that. But what's it called? At the end of the day, once everyone gets used to it, it'll be like the staple and the reminder of the Cybertruck, that it looks different from everything else, just like the iPhone 11 Pro design looks different from everyone else. Stuff like that. So it's not a bad truck. I don't think it's gonna be bad. I think the specs are really nice, and the price is super good as well. 40,000, like for the base model. That's really really good. So yeah. Other than that, like in general, the truck is ugly. I think I can say that in my opinion. I don't like the design, but what is it called? We got to give it a shot. It's gonna come out in 2 years, so for us to be judging it so far in the what's it called, so early, basically early on, it's pretty crazy considered how much time we have to wait till the thing actually comes out. So it's just like a matter of waiting and seeing how good the truck actually is and what other people think about it after they post their reviews on it and stuff like that. I'm looking forward to a full jerry rig everything because I know he's a really good truck guy. So I'm looking forward to a big review on his side when it comes to basically this truck. And I want to see what he thinks about it and stuff like that. Well, that was my first episode of Tech Talk Tuesdays. I know it was pretty short, but I kind of want to do it an hour long instead of doing like too long because then it just goes on forever and forever and I don't know what to say anymore. And basically, if you guys are watching on YouTube and you guys want to watch the stream, when I do stream, make sure to go down to the description and follow me on Twitch. I'll put the link in the description so you guys can go do it. I'll probably stream as like every Tuesday as much as I can, probably for like an hour. And you guys can watch it. If you don't see my stream, you guys can watch it on YouTube, and I'll be posting the YouTube video later on today. But it's basically for us just to like come together and just talk about technology and have fun while doing so. It's pretty chill. I mean, I'm not trying to be like super over eccentric about it, and just trying to be myself and talk about technology that I think is interesting. So if you guys did enjoy this, it would mean a lot to me if you could like, subscribe, and then follow my Twitch if you do want to watch it and see. Go follow me on Twitter so you guys can see when I go live, etc., etc. But yeah, other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed the stream, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.